For this exercise, there's nothing to download except for the instructions that I'm giving you. So I want to go over these instructions so that you get a good understanding of exactly what I'm looking for and what we're going to do with it. As part of your final animation, you're going to develop a cartoon face and then later animate it to a lip sync track. So for this exercise, I only want you to focus on creating a rough sketch that later on we'll pull into animate and start adding the details. Now your face may be either a male, a female, or I'll let you do an alien, and if you want, you could even create a self-portrait. However, the overall design of your illustration needs to be cartoonish in feel. So in other words, I don't want it to be a realistic drawing, and I don't want to have too many details or shading, highlights, that kind of thing. It needs to be kept simple enough that you can recreate it using Adobe Animate's drawing tools. Now, to get started, you simply need to sketch out your ideas. They don't have to be any kind of final design. For now, I'm simply looking for your rough ideas. You can sketch these using paper, and then later you can either scan or photograph it to digitize it onto your computer, or you can sketch this on the computer itself, either using Adobe Animate, Photoshop, or whatever drawing device that you have, as long as your final design becomes digitized. Now, as you're sketching off your designs, keep in mind that it needs to be animated, and there's a certain set of things that must be included in your final design. First, it needs to have some sort of overall head shape. There need to be at least 2 eyes that have pupils and eyelids. In other words, I want to see the eyes looking around, and I want to see the eyes blink. It needs to have a nose and a mouth, 2 eyebrows. There needs to be at least 1 visible ear. This means if you have some sort of head covering or hair, you can let it cover up one part of the ear, but I want to see at least 1 ear on your overall design. There does need to be some sort of hair or head covering, no bald images here. And you need to have the neck and the shoulders. Even though the neck and the shoulders will not be overly animated, I don't simply want to have a floating head. I want to make it look like it's sitting on some sort of body structure. Now, these are the only things that I'm specifically looking for in your design. If you want to add any other details to your figure, you're certainly welcome to. I want you to have fun with this, and I really want to see your creativity and what you can come up with. Now, I understand that drawing cartoons may not be the easiest thing to do if you've never done cartoon drawing before. So I want you to take some time to research any of the details that you want to draw off and look at different styles and how other cartoonists approach to creating cartoons. You can break up your research into the different parts of a cartoon head. For instance, I did a quick Google search for cartoon heads. Now, in looking at this, of course, I can find a lot of different pre-made, already done cartoons. That's not necessarily what I'm looking for. I want you to come up with your own design. Instead, it's much better to find something like these basic cartoon head shapes. From here, these can be the building blocks where I can add my own individual details. Something like this is invaluable for any kind of design that you want to come up with. Once you've got a good cartoon head shape, then you can start researching the different details. You can look up different ways of drawing a nose and the different styles that can go within your cartoon head shape. You can look up eyes and all the different ways and styles of drawing off cartoon eyes. There's also entire YouTube videos of different artists and animators who showed their technique of drawing and creating their own cartoons. The main thing is, do some research and come up with a variety of different styles and sketches, and then finally you'll land on one style and one design that you like. You only need to submit 1 illustration for this exercise. And again, I want to emphasize, it doesn't need to be a final, fully rendered illustration. It can be simply rough and quickly sketched, but it does need to be very unique and not a copy from an original source. When you're finished, make sure you can digitize it, again, by either photographing it, scanning it, or drawing it directly onto the computer, and you're going to upload a digital version of that to the class Moodle page. Next week, we're going to focus on digitizing your character and adding different mouth movements so that you can add a lip sync soundtrack to its final design.